So ultimately, we're talking about 900,000 to 1 million people by the time it's done, bulk of which are single-car drivers. You provide them with an environment that's safer and better than their cars. Why can't it work, Mr. Mayor?
So it's a train.
A super train.
You know, I've been burned by this train business before. You people all seem to forget.
We can change the city.
People love their cars.
Yes, but if you give them great coffee and great music,
I'll put it to you like this, and then I'll thank you for your time. My answer is no.
Would you like to try writing some words in cursive on the blackboard today?
Okay, sure.
Okay, good. How about bunt?
Bunt. B-U-N-T in perfect cursive. Any more brain busters?
Rizzuto.
Z.
Veruto?
Those are Z's.
They look like R's to me.
That's not fair. Rizzuto is not a word. He's a baseball player. You're cheating.
Would you like to try the word buzz?
I hate cursive and I hate all of you. I'm never coming back to school. Never!
You're listening to Entertainment Landfill. Film, television, pop culture. It's where you find it.
Tell me just what in the fresh turkey hell we're dealing with here?
Long story. It's a ghost. It's supposed to be dead. 8 years ago, I put a bullet through his brain.
Great. So we're being chased by the Terminator.
What happened to the cannoli line? You're supposed to say forget about it, Sanchez. The old man likes his cannoli.
Look, I made a mistake, all right? It didn't make any difference anyway.
Hey, I'm letting it go. But don't say it doesn't matter. Every line matters.
Get off my back!
Don't with my play! Hey, break it up! Break it up!
They're playing our song here. Let's dance this one, huh?
I'd love to.
You stepped on my foot.
I'm sorry. That drummer surprised me.
Oh. We'll have to pay more attention. Here it goes again.
I like your nurse's uniform, guy.
These are OR scrubs.
Oh, are they? Well, they're totally inappropriate for the occasion.
Well, I didn't know we were going to dinner.
That's because you weren't invited.
Take it easy, Max.
You were the one that ordered him a whiskey and soda.
So what's wrong with that? I can write a hit play. Why can't I have a little drink to unwind myself?
You think I'm stupid? Of course I think you're stupid. But you know what? I'll do you a favor. I'll knock that dumb right out of your skull. You just say the word, Jack.
Hello, everyone. Oh, good times. Hello. Hi, everyone. It's time for Entertainment Landfill. I'm your host, the J-Strom. Welcome to the show. It's time for the show. Yeah, naturally, wouldn't it be time for the show? Hey, I don't do the show alone. I do it with Steven the Pop Culture Zealot.
Hey, what's happening?
Hi, Steven. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
It's so good to see you, Steven.
It's good to see you, too.
I've had a pretty rough week myself, meaning just exhausting. Do you want me to explain why?
Sure.
It was time to get Emma's learner's permit.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to go to the DMV. When's the last time you've been to a DMV?
I don't know.
Years and years. Yeah, like Heather and I, we both renew our driver's license online. Last time we went was when we got Emma a ID because she was going to another state on an airplane without us. So she needed a state ID, so we got her that. That took a while, but this was something else entirely. And some people, you'll say, like, I got to go to the DMV, and they'll go, well, just make an appointment. You can do that now on the little internet thing. And it's confusing as hell. Like, I had to have Heather's mom show me how to do it because I couldn't figure it out. Does that make any sense? Like,
you're techie too, so
I should be able to figure it out, but I couldn't. But it didn't matter anyway because we waited 5 hours on Wednesday. And it was a long, excruciating day. At one point, the guy says, you guys can leave. Just, go eat something, come back. You can kind of gauge by numbers, like, how far away you are. And I was like, Emma, come on, let's get out of here. And we went and ate lunch. Took as long as possible. Hung out in the car for a bit. Went back inside. Oh, not even close. But, we waited around, sat down, walked around. Finally, I see... I still remember the number we had. It was L4229. And all of a sudden, the numbers went past ours. And I went, what the hell? Why did it go past ours? So I got up and I go, Emma, come on. She was like, what's going on? And I saw the guy that had been walking around and answering people's questions. So he's going this way to the right. So I start going to the right, and then he stops, and he's walking to the left. I go, wait, go this way, go this way. And so I go left, and he's snaking around. Some people will talk to him, and I'm walking up to him. And then he starts going right again. So I'm like, shit. And so I start going right. And Emma finally goes, what are we doing? And I go, Emma, just stop. Just stop it. Follow me, okay? So we went up to the guy, and I said, hey, the numbers went past us. Our number never went up there. And he goes, oh, well, go ahead and get in line over here. And I was like, okay. So we went in line. Keep in mind, this is the 5th hour. We're both tired. I just snapped at Emma, and I feel terrible for it. But and then while we're in line there, because when they call your number, you don't just go up and go, here I am. You get in another line to get up there. And all of a sudden, my left contact, moves. And I can't get it back in my eye. And I'm messing with it. Can't find it in my eye. It's lost somewhere. And I'm like, Emma, do you see my contact? And I'm opening my eye and looking at her. She was like, stop. I don't want to look in your eye or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, thanks for that. So I was like, I'm blind in one eye. Okay. So I can see out of my right eye only, right? So we finally get called up there. And the lady's looking, okay, you have this, birth certificate, social security card, proof of residence, 2 of those. And then it comes time to, prove that our daughter goes to the school she goes to. And we have an old report card, the last report card from last year. And we have her schedule for this year, which starts Monday. And the lady, I call her a girl, she's a woman, she says, can't take this. This is old. And I said, yes, she goes to the same school. We have a schedule there. And she looks at that. She goes, school hasn't started yet, has it? And I go, it starts on Monday. She goes, I can't take this either. And I said, why? Well, she goes to the school. There's her schedule proving that she's about to start school. She's like, I need something for now. You need this VOE form. It means verification of enrollment. And then I realized as I'm looking at her, like, she's not going to let us do it. Get the learner's permit. She's going to turn us away. And I go, we've been here 5 hours. Can we please just and she was like, I'm sorry. She goes, you know what you could do is just get here tomorrow, like right when we open. That way you probably won't have to wait too long. And I'm just like, I've been here 5 hours. And the last thing I want to think about is coming here first thing in the morning. And then she says...
Did you ask for a supervisor?
No. Are you kidding? I can only see out of one eye. It's been 5 hours. I'm exhausted. I can't think of putting up any kind of fight. I'm defeated. And she says, you know what a lot of people do? They come in May for learner's permits because it's not as busy then. And I'm like... She had driver's ed in July. How could we have come in May? It doesn't make any sense.
And I'm not going to wait almost another year.
Yeah. I mean, and I was like, she's like, I'm really sorry. And I'm just getting up and I just start walking. Emma's just like, Dad. And she's like trying to keep up to me because I'm so upset. And I get in the car and I'm just like, oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe we wasted this entire day. It's bad.
Yes.
Oh, man. And I spent the rest of the night thinking about it. What's funny is I didn't want to tell Heather. I just didn't want to tell her. But you know what it kind of reminded? When I was in the car, I was like, okay, start the car. We're sitting in the car for a bit. I'm fine. And then I thought of that scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off when Cameron gets in the car and he revs the engine. He's like... Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God damn it! And so we leave, and eventually I tell Heather, and we make a plan. First thing in the morning, I'm going to the high school and getting that form. And I do. It's very simple. And then this morning, I'm like, we're not going, I did say I'm never going back to that DMV for as long as I live. So we chose a different one, the Waxahachie one that's 30 minutes from here. So I went to that one instead. That one is smaller, and it's like the one we went to on Brentwood Stair, like does everything. It's huge. There's like 1,000 people in there, just too crowded. So we went to this one this morning, right before they open, and I drive up, line of like 100 people, and I'm just like, So Em and I get in line. We're standing outside, and it's already 80 degrees in the morning and humid. So we're standing outside, and luckily I brought my earbuds. Emma did too, and I'm just tuning the world out. And I was listening to music loud. I was like, I don't want to hear anybody's voices. I don't want to hear anything. I'm tuning out the universe right now. Because after what we went through of the 5 hours before, I can barely tolerate it this time. I'm like, I can't believe we're doing this again. We have to do this again. So we get in line, and we get a number. And all the seats are gone immediately, so we have to stand up because they don't even have 100 chairs in there. So everybody takes all the chairs immediately, and so we're standing against the wall, and we're waiting forever. But finally, we get up to the counter, and we get the learner's permit. Everything's fine. The lady was doing the thing where she was helping us, but also talking to the lady next to her. She's like, "Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Oh, what school is he going to? What's his?" I'm just like, can you just pay attention to us, please? Can you just, And then another lady's like, "What form do I use for that?" And she goes, "Oh, you need this." People keep distracting her. I'm like, why can't she just help us and just stop, looking at other people? And I was just like,
I've got 2 years before I have to go get a new photo.
It's gotten worse. I was thinking about when I took the driving test. I did it differently. I didn't take driver's ed. I took the written part and then the driving test in the same day. Yeah. And I have no idea how long it took. I don't remember it all, but there's no way it took 5 hours.
No.
I mean, that's insane. Today it took 3 hours. And it had gotten where Emma couldn't sit up anymore. She was just laying her body on me, and I had my arm around her because she was just like, she couldn't do it anymore. And I was like, I literally cannot go another 30 minutes of this. I'm going to say, let's go, because I can't take it anymore.
When I took my motorcycle license, I went right up there, and they're like, go to those computers right there.
Mm-hmm.
Take the test, passed, go up there, and they're like, okay.
You know what I think it is? Honestly, there was a lot of kids getting their learners
right before
permits
school.
Right before school starts, and I think it was just a lot of people waiting till the last minute or whatever, kind of like me. So I drop Emma off at home, and I'm like, I'm going to go to the store and get Heather some wine and some other things, because, she kicks back with a little bit of,
Why can't I have a little drink to unwind myself?
Yeah, exactly. So I get a bottle of wine. I'm checking out. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I go to grab the bottle. I'm leaving. I go, clink, drop it on the ground. And this guy goes, did you break it? And I was just like, fuck off, stop talking to me or whatever. So I pick it up and I go, no, and it goes, it's like sprays wine out of it like it's champagne or something. I was like, oh shit. And then he goes, it's fine, just go get another one. And I was like, okay. So I set it down, and of course it's the giant Kroger, so it's like a mile away to go back to the wine section. So I get in the car, I get all the wine, get in the car, and I'm like, so anyway, now my engine's ruined. So then I come back home and I'm like, I've got to work on the show. I have clips and stuff I need to do, but it's all over. We got the learner's permit. It was so funny. I whispered to Emma and I say, hey, I know you're exhausted. Just try and smile for your picture when they take it. And you should see her picture is just kind of like a, kind of defeated, exhausted. Yeah. I feel so bad. Hey, what's up, Adam Sexton? We also got Jessica in the ETL chat room. What's up, guys? We've got some voicemail. What do you say we check out some voicemail?
Sweet.
And you know what that means, Steven? It's time for the awesome
email intro.
That's right. Uh-oh. That's right.
And now it's time to hear some voicemail.
Oh, are they?
Yes, it indeed be. Time for some voicemail. Let's check it out. Our first voicemail comes from Mike.
Hey guys, it's Mike here from Chinstricker versus Punter. I just want to send you a quick voicemail to say how happy I am to see you guys return to the old format. It has brought great happiness and joy and security to my life to see things return to the way they are. And you have returned to the classic entertainment landfill format. When you were umming and ahhing about whether to do it or not, to me it was really clear. It's like, yes, if you can, please go do that. I'd say you go even further. Jesus, just be nowhere in Mulberry again. If you've gone this far, just go all in. But no, I'm really happy to see you guys return to the format. It's really nice to be sort of introduced to new drops as well, new clips, particularly this.
The Montana and Marvin Show. It's the Montana and Marvin Show. What?
And even more specifically, this gift here that you gave the world. What? So it's wonderful to have you back. Also, I cannot have any kind of communication with you guys without harassing you about getting an audio promo done. It drives me insane. You guys are one of the first podcasts I ever got into, and you're still the best. And I just think you need to get the word out about this and, grow your audience even further. I know in the early days you got a real bump from Hollywood Saloon, and whilst I'm not trying to make any kind of comparisons as far as audience size or anything like that goes, there's I'm part of a sort of unofficial group of a lot of podcast friends out there who through Twitter, Facebook, all of those places, and through podcasting itself, like the Film Bastards podcast, Noel Mellor's, Adventures in VHS, and Beyond the Neon podcast, the Good, the Bad, and the Odd. There's just a lot of podcasts where we exchange promos and we share a lot of audiences, and I just really want the listeners of Chin Striker versus Punter to discover the joy that is Entertainment Landfill, particularly now you are going through what I mentioned on Facebook. I feel is a second golden age of the show. I've said before about how you guys are kind of... It reminds me a lot to talk about Jerry Seinfeld, actually, weirdly enough, because that's become topical with all the Bobcat Goldthwait stuff that you've been talking about, which he turned out to be a bit of a dick bag, didn't he? It just made me think about how Jerry Seinfeld always talked about how Larry David was like a comedian's comedian. And you hear about these obscure jazz musicians that don't necessarily reach a huge audience, but like famous jazz musicians always cite as being, you know, a musician's musician. And I always felt that you guys were the podcaster's podcast. A lot of people I know who have gone on to, have prolific, I don't want to say careers, but prolific engagement in podcasting, have talked about how big fans they are of you. And I just really wish that you guys could just get a promo out, and we'll put it on all of our shows.
Wow.
And we will cross promote and do all of those wonderful things, and you will then get feedback from new people, which is what we all want. But again, I'm going to let you guys get back on with the show. Love what you're doing. Feels like you guys are reinvigorated, and
hell yeah.
Thanks again for this. Love it.
Thank you, Mike. That was so nice to say. That was really nice of you. And just for that, I'm going to play the whole commercial.
Monday through Fridays is when they rule the late night. On the scene of your TV screen, they keep it tight. 9 p.m. is when you catch the Montel show. 10 p.m. is when Marvin Roll gives you more. So turn it on. Tune in to Talk Show Heaven. KDFI, Channel 27. Montel and Maury, they the baddest compilation. Keep your ears and eyes locked to this TV station. The Montel and Maury show. It's the Montel and Maury show. What? It's the Montel and Maury show. It's the Montel and Maury show.
Yes, I love that. What? Now, Mike, you're right. He's been wanting me to make an intro forever, so I thought, why don't we do it, Steven? Let's do an intro. I mean, do you have a timer on your phone? 60 seconds? Can we get a timer?
I'm sure I have a timer.
All right. We're going to try to do some... Let me try to find some pod-safe music, some free music, unlicensed music. Let's see what we got here. Oh, here we go. This is good. This kind of sounds like Serial from NPR. Hey, everyone. I'm the J-Strom, and I do a podcast called Entertainment Landfill. I don't do it alone, though. I also do it with Steven the Pop Culture Zealot. Say hi, Steven.
Hey, everyone.
Every week we do shows about film, television, and pop culture. All right, thanks a lot. Oh, shit, 20 seconds. And also, we talk about DVDs and Blu-rays. 27 seconds. And also, we what
about video games?
Yeah, we talk about video games sometimes and movies.
Movies we've just recently watched. We do, what else?
And,
we need words.
Monday through Fridays is when they rule the late night. On the scene of your TV screen, they keep it tight. 9 p.m. is when you catch the Montel show. 10 p.m. is when Marvin Roll gives you more.
All right, there you go, Mike. There's our... I suck at this. I can't do it.
We have to figure something out. We'll do a better one.
So there's our promo. Everybody spread that throughout the world. It's not funny. Oh, I'm so frustrated. Steven. Oh! I had to go run and get the car. All right, Steven, we have another voicemail. This one from Bob Roberts. So let's check out this voicemail from Bob Roberts, who I don't think I've ever heard from before.
I don't think so.
Hi, J-Strip and Steven. Long time listener, first time caller.
Hey.
I just want to say I watched the first episode of The Rook, and I'll give it a grade of B. B for boring. It should have been a Y. Y for yawn-inducing, because it was really hard to get through. However, for the series, The Boys, It is much better, more engaging, and I finished the entire series. So I would definitely recommend people go watch The Boys.
Fair enough.
Definitely worth your time. Thanks for for keeping up with the shows lately. Really appreciate it. Thanks and bye.
Well, thank you, Bob. And I appreciate you checking out The Rook. Now, I must confess that the first time I watched The Rook, the night of it was after the show. It was really late. I was tired, but I couldn't sleep. So I started The Rook, and then I got real sleepy, and I didn't finish it. And I wasn't sure I wanted to. And my wife said, yeah, you got to watch it. So I went ahead and finished it the next day and watched the next episode, and it got better. So, yeah, it's a pretty slow-going kind of setup type of pilot episode, but check it out. I think you might like it,
Might like the rest of it.
Yeah, and Steven, did you try out The Boys yet? Check out The Boys?
No, I meant to this week, but we worked a lot.
Now, I will say this. Here's The Boys. It's a fun show, but it's like that friend that tries too hard. They want you to like them so bad. They just try hard. They've been everywhere. They've seen everything. They collect all the Star Wars toys. They got all the action figures. They've got 20 stormtroopers, and you've got one at home,
Right.
But The Rook, it's like that really interesting person at your school that seems really smart. They seem kind of unapproachable, but they just seem so damn cool
like me?
Sitting over there. Yeah,
Me
like
back in
Steven
school.
sitting over there. You're chilling. You just kick back your foot up on the library table at the school, and you're reading some Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and you're like, damn, that guy's cool, but he's unapproachable,
He's reading Naked Lunch. What?
And you just don't care at all. But look across the cafeteria. Oh, there's The Boys. He's like, hey, everybody, woo, class clown. Guess what he's doing? He's lighting his farts with a cigarette lighter over there. Yeah, it's entertaining and funny, but that guy's not going to go anywhere, Steven. He's going to never leave town.
Bob liked it. He said it was good.
It's a good show, I'm just saying.
Get off my back!
Yeah. So check out The Boys. And
I do want to check out The Boys. I just didn't have... We worked so many hours this week. And then
yeah, that's a good thing about Amazon. It's going to be up there forever. So we've got one more voicemail. This one from Adam Sexton. Let's check it out.
Hello, Entertainment Landfill crew. This is Adam Sexton sending you a voicemail. Happy to see that you guys are recording tonight. So here's my feedback in voicemail form, and I'll try to make it briefer than the last one. I think I rambled on a little bit too much, so I'll try to keep this short and sweet. Love the episode of last week. Love to talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I liked your very dismissive reviews of The Boys. Thank you for confirming that the show just looks like a giant piece of shit. And also thank you for mentioning the numerous appearances of penises in both that and the show Euphoria. I don't know if that's going to become a regular feature for your review process, but hey, if that's what you want to do, all right.
Mr. Peen.
Don't know if I have a whole lot of news right now, but I just want to point a couple of things. I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 3 times so far.
Whoa.
And I forget if you guys mentioned this last week. I didn't feel the need to bring it up during my conversation with the J-Strum on my podcast, but there's this thing with Quentin Tarantino films, especially like the last 3 or 4 that he's made, where he seems to pay close attention to food preparation, whether that's food or drink, and examples will be like the strudel in Inglourious Bastards, or like a pint of beer that's being prepared in Django Unchained, and it's happened again recently in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But I couldn't help but notice, and I wonder if you noticed this too, that the Brad Pitt character Cliff Booth, when he goes home and we see where he lives in that trailer along with his dog Brandy, and he gets back in and makes food. I love that scene where he's preparing her dog food bowl by just holding a can of dog food at like shoulder length and just letting it drop and plop right onto the bowl.
Yeah.
And he does it like twice and then adds some dry food. But then he makes for himself Kraft mac and cheese. Couldn't help but notice, but he doesn't add milk and butter to the prep, and that just kind of grosses me out. I don't know if maybe Cliff is running a little dry financially and he can't afford milk or butter, but that's just awful. That's almost like eating microwave version of mac and cheese, and I hate that stuff. I like the classic prep with the saucepan and water and milk and butter and all that stuff, but that just kind of weirds me out. But anyway, and he eats it from the saucepan. He doesn't give him a bowl either. But anyway, I thought that was a weird, odd moment from the film, and I want to know if you guys caught it. And also, I wanted to thank everyone for listening to the episode that I posted with the J-Strum, the Anchor app, the hosting site that I use for my podcast has informed me that since it's been out for a week, it's had 26 plays across all of the streaming sites that you can listen to it on. And so I can't thank you guys enough for giving it a chance. And there's probably some listeners who are not fans of the show who gave it a chance. So I really love that. And I can't thank the J-Strum enough for his time and for his enthusiasm. And I hope we get to do it again soon. The last note I want to end on is, I don't know if you guys have read about this, but The Abyss turned 30 years old today.
Wow.
Today is the 30th anniversary of its release date, and I'm assuming that's a favorite of everyone here, and I just wanted to hear some thoughts of yours about the movie, and I know we're supposed to be getting like a 4K remaster on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray pretty soon. That's been promised to us for who knows how many years now.
Myth.
But I love the film. I prefer the special edition cut. And I just wanted to hear if you guys had any anecdotes about watching it. You probably would have had an opportunity to see it in the theater or maybe watched it on home video several times. I didn't even realize the movie existed until my parents rented the VHS from the Pleasant Plains Video Mart one night. And that pretty much solidified my love for the film because I would go back to revisit it over and over. So anyway, I wanted to end on that note, and I look forward to hearing the episode. If I can listen live, I'll try to. But anyway, you guys have a good episode. Have a good weekend. Everyone listening in, hope you're having a good time. And I will check y'all later. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Adam. And it was so much fun doing that podcast with you. If you guys haven't listened to it yet, I linked it on the show post from last week and also in the ETL fan club on Facebook. I was on Adam Sexton's podcast, The Past and the Pending. We talked much longer about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood than I did on the show last week, mainly because Steven hadn't seen it yet. You've since seen it.
I have seen it now.
And did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it.
That's
great. And I know the scene he's talking about. And
I didn't notice because I don't eat a lot of macaroni.
I noticed because he has the powdered kind, and I find that disgusting.
Yeah, I do. I did remember the holding the dog food and just.
Yeah.
It's just a funny movie. That's what I love about it. I thought Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio were so good in it, and it's an interesting film. It's definitely one that. I knew after I watched it, this is a kind of movie, like when it comes on HBO, whenever it's on, I'll just watch it from there on and watch it till the ending, How about that ending without spoiling anything? Did you like the ending?
Yes. I didn't have a problem with it.
Did you laugh out loud?
Yes.
Did you have any tears laughing?
No, I had no tears.
No tears from laughter.
Oh, no, I don't think I had tears from laughter.
Because I did at a certain part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was hilarious. Yes.
Oh, God. So good. And, Adam, you talked about The Abyss. I have a a big story I've told about The Abyss many times on the show, at least twice. I don't know. We've done the show for so long. It's so funny. When I'm making intros, I'm like, have I ever used this clip before in an intro? I can't remember anymore.
Yes.
Like, I've had to have done the "Oh, are they" from Rushmore before.
Yeah, I'm sure you've done that one.
Oh, are they?
And I looked, and I had no drops for it. So I'm like, if I did use that clip, I never made drops for it. So I don't know. Usually if I have a drop of a certain clip, like of a movie, and I'm like, oh, I've done that before in an intro. That's why I have it. So that one I didn't. Now, I also can't remember how many times I've talked about The Abyss. There's this kind of funny running joke that whenever we talk about Nightmare on Elm Street, Bill always brought up the same thing. He goes, which one was that one where the guy had the thing in his ears? And then, like, he brings it up like literally every single time we talk about it. And I'm like, finally I had like this weird meta moment. I'm like, we've talked about this before. We've had this exact conversation before. And I think that I put that in the best of, where I was just like, you bring that up every time and we have the same conversation. But in The Abyss, I was on my first date ever with a girl, and we were leaving the theater. We'd seen Pet Sematary, and there was a lady out there with a clipboard, and I was a James Cameron freak. That's like all I talked about. I freaking loved Terminator, and I knew The Abyss was coming out. Terminator and Aliens, and The Abyss was his next film. So I'd seen Aliens a gazillion times on cable. So I walk out of the theater, and this lady's like, hello, would you guys be interested in seeing a free screening to a movie that's coming out soon? And I'm like, sure, what is it, or whatever. And she's like, it's a movie by director James Cameron. And I'm just like, what the boop? And it's just like, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. Oh my God. He's the director of such films. And I'm like, Terminator and Aliens? And she's like, yeah. Oh, you're a fan? You know who that is? And I'm like, yes, I do. She goes, it's this new film, The Abyss. It's an undersea action thriller. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know all about it. I've read about it in Starlog. She's like, so with this, you get a free pass and you can bring somebody along. And she gave me one, and she gave the girl I was with. And instantly, I cared nothing about the date I was on. I completely forgot about her.
You were in seventh heaven over the movie.
And I feel so bad thinking about it now, but I was like, I got to get back to Ray and tell him about this. So I was like, so is our date over? Like, are we done or whatever? And she's like, I guess so. And I'm like, okay, because I got to get to Ray and tell him about this. So, you know, I didn't even have a car. Her dad, like, drove me home. And I go home, and I'm like, Ray, and I don't even know if I said goodbye to her or whatever. It's terrible. I know. And that's why karma caught up with me later, because the screening wasn't until a couple of months later, like 3 months or something. And what happened is I think originally it had like a July release. Like they were going to release it on 4th of July or right around there. The film got pushed back to August, like late August. And the day of the screening, they called. Thank God they called, because we were going to head out to the theater to see the screening, and they said it was canceled. The film isn't finished yet. So I had 3 months of just like, oh, I can't wait to see this. Oh, I'm so excited. And I had the novelization, and I was reading the novelization of The Abyss.
Now, did you get the other ticket or just the one?
She gave me the other one. She's like, I don't care about this. And it's just like, oh, okay. So kind of, I don't care about this. I don't care about you. You know, she pretty much said that was all that needed to be heard right there. So it was me and Ray, and then my dad, and I think Vanessa was gone. But they called us. Literally, we were about to walk out the door and said that it was canceled. And I was just like, well, shit. So I was just like, Dad, can I borrow the keys? He's like, what for? You don't know how to drive. And I go, just give me the keys, Dad. I went in the car, and I was like... And so I got out of the car, gave him the keys, and walked back inside. And
you ruined a lot of cars.
Yeah. So that's my Abyss story, Adam. And yes, I love the film. It does have I remember when I finally saw The Abyss in that August of that summer, I just like mesmerized by the visuals, all this. And when the movie ends, it's kind of like, what happened there? That was abrupt. It's it's a weird ending. Just kind of happens.
Yeah.
So I walked out and I was like, wasn't ready
missing.
to admit the ending was flawed, but I was like, oh, it was awesome and stuff like that. Because I can fool myself, I did see The Phantom Menace several times before I admitted to myself that there's something wrong. So it wasn't until later that I read, probably in Premiere Magazine, that James Cameron was so frustrated with the cuts the studio wanted, that the movie was too long, that he decided to just excise like a huge 20 minutes from the ending of the film. So if the film seems weird in the third act, that's why. He just decided, we'll just cut all this shit right here. So when you see the director's cut of the film, it's like, oh my God, all this tension is added back in. It makes so much more sense now, and the ending seems more earned,
Yeah.
The aliens, basically, they create this giant, all the oceans, they rise the ocean so high that everyone on the coast sees that the ocean is standing, and they're basically, the aliens are saying, get your shit together with this nuclear shit or whatever, and your wars, or we're just going to drop the ocean on your ass and kill all of you. So then they recede the ocean. And
I have seen that version.
Because there's kind of like a...
I'm like, have I seen the extended?
Maybe. There's kind of like a Cuban Missile Crisis thing going on in the Gulf where they're all fighting over the downed nuclear submarine. So that happens and everyone's like, we can all get along. So you guys don't need to murder us, And that's way more interesting. It's still... The NTIs look goofy as shit. The one looks rubber. He's in a weird jellyfish thing, and you see his little rubber head and his little rubber hands. Yeah. The part where Bud Brigman, he reaches out and the little rubber hand goes around his, I'm like, yeah, that could look better. But still, I love the film for James Cameron. He was insane. He filmed it underwater in an abandoned nuclear facility. And everyone hated him by the end of the movie filming. And it's a massive technical achievement. They mastered communication underwater and scuba masks and stuff. James Cameron's always been a real gearhead and fascinated with submersibles and, Titanic and stuff like that going.
Yep.
So the movie is certainly fascinating, but what's even more fascinating is just the making of it. I want to see that Blu-ray come out, like Adam said, 4K, extended edition, not theatrical. Theatrical cut comes on every once in a while, and I'll watch bits of it. But when it gets near the ending, I usually flip the channel. I don't even watch it till the end. There's parts that I like, but I just want to see the extended bit. It's like once you see the extended version of Aliens, it's hard to go back to the theatrical version of Aliens. Once you see the extended version of Terminator 2, where they show the T-1000 actually malfunctioning, his feet are sticking to the ground, and when he grabs a railing, his arm is malfunctioning and sticking to the... So then at the end, when Arnold shoots him with a grenade and he kind of goes... It kind of makes more sense now that he's malfunctioning because we saw it earlier. But in the theatrical version, you never see any of that. So you're like... Why didn't he just morph back? Why is he all weirded out and he just falls in the lava? It seemed weird. Shouldn't someone have pushed him in? But with those added features there, you understand why. Also, in the director's cut of T2, they actually take Arnold's chip out and make him a learning cyborg or whatever, and that's better. I like. James Cameron's director's cuts are always amazing. Same with Avatar has a better director's cut. So, Adam, yes, I like The Abyss. Guys, what do you say we get into entertainment? Ah, yes, entertainment.
What in the fresh turkey hell we're dealing with here?
Yeah, that's right, Hobbs. Or is he Shaw? No, Hobbs is The Rock. Shaw is Jason Statham.
Yes.
Stephen, we saw Hobbs and Shaw.
We did.
And you brought Melissa. Did she like the film? It was so funny. She goes, I've never seen any of these movies, the Fast and the Furious. I was like, oh my God, what is she going to think of this? That was hilarious.
She said it was a guy film.
It definitely is a guy film. I will say this. I'm going to say this about Hobbs and Shaw. My favorite bit is the sister. Thought she was the most interesting character. Jason Statham has a sister in it, Hattie Shaw, and she's like a was she MI6 or something? MI5, MI6,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever it
She's
is.
a badass or whatever. I thought she was cool. Also, there's a bit where they establish The Rock hasn't been home to Samoa in forever. His mom has never even met his daughter, and we're just waiting for that. Shaw's mom is in prison, and she just wants to see her son and her daughter talking to each other again.
Yes.
Because Hattie hates him. So we're going to tie that up by the end of the movie, right? Now, as for all this, Idris Elba is great as this over-the-top character. I will say this, the action is fine or whatever. I didn't feel a lot during the movie, Steven. My favorite bit is The Rock and Statham bickering with each other.
Sometimes it was a little too much, the bickering.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to outdo each other with the cut downs.
Well, that's their strength is these guys not getting along or whatever.
Well, I understand not getting along, but
by the time they are teaming up, I was like, yeah, finally, Jesus.
Yeah.
I will say this about Hobbs and Shaw: too effing long. It's 2 hours and 16 minutes. It should not be that long. This kind of movie should be 90 minutes. We should be in and out of the theater. You know the part where they go to that base and they're going to save the sister? First, they make it where she gets captured on purpose so they can get the machine that will help take the stuff out of her blood. That whole setup, and then when they're doing the getaway and everything's blowing up, that should have been the ending of the movie there, I felt like. But then they're like, we can't hide anywhere. He's going to find us anywhere. Let's go back to Samoa.
Yeah.
And then they have that whole thing. And I'm like, okay, now it's been like almost 2 hours by the time that... I just thought the movie, if the audience has time to go, Jesus, how long is this movie? That means it's too long, doesn't it?
Right. Yes.
And that's what I felt at that point. I mean, like the fighting and stuff like that, that's fun. The hand-to-hand combat. And there's they gave away a lot of the funny stuff in the trailer. Like the part where he goes in the room. He goes in the hallway with like 10 guys, and The Rock goes in the hallway with one guy. And that would have been funnier had we not seen it in the trailer, But yeah, I mean, you know what you're going to go see. If you go see Hobbs and Shaw, you know what kind of movie it's going to be.
you're set for just silly fun.
Silly, mindless fun. And it had a cameo by Ryan Reynolds, which was interesting, but at the same time, I was like, this is pulling me out of the movie big time. Did it pull you out of the movie? Like, why is Ryan Reynolds? Why is he in this all of a sudden?
Yeah, I mean, the way he acted too was, very Deadpoolish too.
Yeah, I've read somebody say, did they film this after the movie's completed? That's what it feels like.
Gotcha.
And I was thinking about it, and I go, they easily could have, because he's only talking on the phone, supposedly with The Rock. So they could have had... The Rock could have been talking to anybody, and then they changed it later. Like, hey, we fired the guy.
We went this way.
We cast Ryan Reynolds in this scene, kind of punch it up or whatever. I mean, I do like the characters are fine. I have a good time with them. I just think that they had too much shit going on. I will tell you, no, forget Ryan Reynolds. Forgive me, Ryan Reynolds. You did not stop the film down. Kevin Hart, you stopped the film down. Oh, my God. When he shows up, secret cameo, guys, I ruined it. I'm so sorry. But the film goes, screeching halt. Did you feel that way, too? Because he's like doing a bit. Like,
it was. Hey, I'm getting a cameo because I'm buddies with The Rock.
Yeah, he's just being all ridiculous and stuff. And you see Statham and
because he's the air marshal on the plane.
And The Rock are just sitting there and they're reacting off him, just kind of watching him and just like, okay, guys, let's move it along. Come on. Let's get off this plane. We've been on this plane for way too long in the movie. And
a scene that could have been tossed out easily.
His whole everything about his part could have been cut out of the movie. We never would have missed.
Well, the whole plane ride was kind of
the whole plane ride.
I mean, okay, yeah, you're leaving from the States to go.
I had a main problem with one part of the movie. We've seen in the trailer, Idris Elba, he takes the sister because she's injected herself with this nano stuff or whatever.
A programmable virus.
Throws her over his shoulder, runs and jumps out of the building. He's going down a wire. Zzz, And Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and Jason Statham, they're like, oh my God, Hattie. And they run to the edge, and he's like, come on, ready? 1, 2, 3. And he jumps and he goes down the wire, and Statham goes, don't tell me what to do. And he walks over, he saunters over, gets on the elevator, and he's riding down the elevator. And I'm like, the guy has your sister, and you don't seem like you're in a hurry at all,
Well, that would kind of make a bit of sense since he doesn't really like his sister.
Yeah, he doesn't want her to die, though.
Well, who's saying she's going to die?
Here's another thing I have. Idris Elba's a guy that he killed. Jason Statham killed him.
Yes.
He shot him in the head. When he sees him, Jason Statham's face is stone, expressionless. He's just like, oh, he's alive again, or whatever. Yeah. But I would have been like, what? Like, dun-dun-dun, camera zoom in, my reaction, holy shit, I shot that guy in the head, and he's alive, he's back. How is this possible? But you'd never get that from his reaction at all, would you?
No.
Just kind of like, oh, he's alive again. Okay, let's chase him.
Let's kill him again.
I did like Idris Elba whenever people were coming at him, about to punch him, he'd be like, analysis of all the punching. It's funny because it kind of reminded me of Sherlock Holmes with, Robert Downey Jr., how he would analyze in his head, how to counter punches or whatever. That's what that kind of reminded me of. So Idris Elba had a computer in his head telling him the punch trajectory, and it would show
how fast it's coming.
Yeah, and the force that it's going to hit him at and stuff. I thought that was funny. And of course, it's mindless action where Steven and I, when we want to watch a movie, we want to laugh at how ridiculous it is, like many Fast and the Furious movies. And finally, at the very end, we got something where we both were like, ah, ha, ha. And it's the part where the helicopter is attached to the truck and the chain comes off and The Rock grabs the chain. He's going, oh, and he's holding the helicopter in place while holding onto the truck. And you and I laughed and were like, yeah, finally we get some ridiculous stuff. And that was fun.
I was like, why can't it just pull his arm off? No.
I know.
That's not right.
So, Steven, do you have any more Hobbs and Shaw thoughts?
No. Like I said, just ridiculous, mindless fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, a bit too long. There were scenes that could be cut easily. The whole Kevin Hart.
Yeah. I mean, the movie is not... It's not supposed to be challenging viewing or anything like that. It's just a big, dumb movie.
Yeah.
And it was a big, dumb movie. I think it should... If it was 90 minutes, it would have been perfect. We just would have been coming out of theater just being like, that was so dumb and fun or whatever. But instead we were like, Jesus, that was long, man.
That's a bit drawn out.
It's a tad long. It's a tad drawn out there, huh?
And then all the extra scenes, they marveled it at the end.
Look, I made a mistake, all right?
Oh, my God. You know, Marvel movies, they usually have at least two. Like, right when the movie ends, they show the main credits, like animated credits, and then... dun-dun-dun, and then it shows a clip, and then the rest of the credits, and then at the very end, they show something.
Yeah.
Well, not in Hobbs and Shaw, baby. They're going to have, 3 or 4 clips?
I don't remember. 3, yeah.
Like, don't leave, everybody. We're going to show you another movie during the credits. And the thing at the very end, I was like, oh, great. We waited till the end for this. This is totally worth it. It was more Ryan Reynolds. Yep. Yeah, more. Hey, we had him on the set, guys. We got to use him. This is guy from Deadpool, everybody.
If that didn't pull you out, this will.
Yeah. Wow. So, Hobbs and Shaw, everybody. Good times.
Now, how did you like after the movie? My little joke on you.
Oh, God. Okay. What time did we see that during the day? Because there was no one in the bathroom.
We waited till the end, so everybody had left.
Yeah, the movie was long. I had to pee really bad. And so Steve and I go in the bathroom at the same time, and, it's kind of awkward. We're like, I don't want to stand next to Steven while I'm peeing, because, it's awkward. I won't be able to start, I'm kidding. We've done that many times. But I was like, I'm going to go use the stall. And immediately, walk in, there's just... It's like somebody had a problem. It's just like urine everywhere. And So I have to pee for about good 5.
I've gone and finished, and I'm washing up, walking out.
Yeah, and we're the only ones in there, and so I'm midstream, and Steven goes, I hope you had a... No, he goes this.
I hope you had a hell of a piss, Arnold.
And I just start laughing so hard that I start to lose control a little bit. Luckily, the stall was already messed up, but I'm like laughing, and I'm like shaking, and I'm like, damn it, Steven. And I'm like, I was in a vulnerable position here. So... and so I'm like washing my hands, and as I walk out, and you're like still laughing as I walk out.
I hope you had a hell of a piss, Arnold.
It was like perfect because I was like
very proud of myself over
just
that.
Picture like you know when you see those goofy old TV shows or whatever, they're trying to fire hose and it goes out of control.
Kind of the reverse spit take, just with urine.
Oh my God, I was just like, that was hilarious. That was more we laughed than in the entire movie. Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
God, that was funny, Steven. I almost forgot to bring that up.
Oh, I wasn't going to forget that.
Whoops.
Uh-oh. There you guys go. Urine humor. All right. Let's talk about some TV shows, Steven. But first, no, actually, I have a special news story that I just need you to hear. Okay? Let's check this out. Picture this. A tree fell and landed on a car and completely flattened it, Steven. This is serious stuff. But wait till you hear from the innocent bystander who saw the whole thing.
As the tree was cut down and landed right onto a parked vehicle, totaling it. We're told that car belongs to a Marshall student. You can imagine how upset she had to be when she came outside and saw her car looking like this. Here's a little of what that witness had to say.
It sounded like a beer can getting flattened. It just was crunch. It was, I hate to say it, it was kind of cool. You know, I mean, what guy, doesn't like, destruction? Yeah, that's why we go to demolition derbies. But hey,
who?
Bottom line, that's that poor girl's new car, and she can't get to school now.
The city spokesperson says the city employees involved were being negligent and protocol was not followed.
I saw that on Twitter, and I just watched it, and I lost it when he's like,
she can't get to school now.
It's like, who is this guy? He's like a character in a movie or something. He's like,
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool. I mean, what?
It was kind of cool. That was hilarious. Now, Steven, this week on Gordon Ramsay Uncharted,
I keep missing that.
He's going to have some rare Moroccan mushrooms.
Are they hallucinatory?
No, they just taste really good and they're really expensive. But it's funny because
But do they?
Whenever he goes to a country, he meets up with a chef that's like a master chef there from wherever he's visiting. And this lady mentions that she tried to get hired in one of his restaurants at least 7 times, so she kind of holds a grudge. And he's like, I had no idea. You should have given me a ring. I would have hired you or whatever. So she's going to make him go after these mushrooms. But first, to get to the mushroom people, he has to go down, rappel down a waterfall, swim in a freezing cold river, and then find these guys. I thought it was kind of silly, but because they want to be hard to find because they have these rare mushrooms. And
or you could take this nice little trail.
Yeah, they have to have Gordon all geared up and whatever, and he's like, "Oh bloody hell!" And so they go up into the hills, and these guys are making. They have some breading, and they put some cheese, and then they put the mushrooms, and Gordon Ramsay's like, "It's a pizza. They're making a pizza," and it's pretty funny. Let's check this out.
I've made a discovery about Najat that may just explain her attitude towards me. You are a powerful chef here, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And you applied to work in my restaurant 7 times.
Yeah, and you never hire me.
You should have phoned me. I would have given you a job any day. Stop it.
Yeah, right.
I can't believe I didn't hire Najat. Hopefully, she's moved past it. Or the only dish I'll be eating on my Moroccan journey is humble pie.
I wanted to go to the mountains.
You want me to go to the mountains?
Yes.
to the Berber land, the people who really still have the traditions and the way of cooking.
Right.
At the end of this week is the New Year's for the Berber people.
Wait. At the end of the week is New Year's Eve.
You and me going to cook.
But I want you to kick my butt in there.
We will. That's my territory. I'm going to send you out there, and if you don't apply to all this thing knowledge that you got from this beautiful fest, we're going to butcher you. How about that? Treasure, I would really love you to meet the mushroom man. He's super magical. He has white hair like you, but he's great.
He's a magic mushroom man.
And he has the best truffles, the best morels, the best lecep.
They're the Rolls Royce of mushrooms, Morel mushrooms.
Yes.
This is amazing. Najat's arranged for her mushroom hunters to meet me. She said that these guys are secretive.
This guy sounds scary.
So secretive that they've got special ways to get you to locations of these mushrooms. My first surprise comes when my guide starts looking to harness me up. But where are the mushrooms?
Down.
The mushrooms are where?
From here.
I love his overreaction to everything. To make
You are
everything
kidding me. Najat's crazy. There must be an easier way to get to these mushrooms.
I was thrown off.
The name is Gordon James, yeah? Like James Bond. I just want to pick mushrooms. But apparently, this is Najat's idea of a good time.
Where are the mushrooms? I will show you where the mushrooms are. Here come. Okay.
Digging the music. Nice Moroccan.
These mushrooms better taste delicious.
Try.
The most amazing magic mushrooms.
Sure, yeah.
Bonjour, how are you?
I'm the king of the mushrooms.
You're the king of the mushrooms. Where are the bloody mushrooms?
No, Richard.
Let's go.
Right now.
It's like, all right, the mushrooms already. Come on,
Have you
people.
heard about Midfuna before?
Midfuna.
Yes, that's
It's
what
like
we're
a-
planning to do now.
It's like
A Berber pizza.
a Berber pizza.
Yes.
My newfound friend, Brahim, gives me a masterclass on how the Berbers cook pizza in the mountains. Spoiler alert, it's a bit different from Domino's.
You use the most expensive mushrooms in the world.
More like Papa John's.
Magic. And now, it's finally time to eat these precious mushrooms. Abdullah, look at that. Wow. That is absolutely delicious.
I was waiting for him to spit him out. Oh,
That was one of the best pizzas I've ever eaten. Putting a slice of that on my menu back home in London, you'd have to charge in excess of £100. It's delicious.
damn.
The shock for me is that for the boys, it's a staple. They eat that every day. That's the big surprise. The luxuriousness of those mushrooms sandwiched between two slices of dough. Brilliant.
Let me ask you this, Stephen. Do you eat mushrooms?
I do.
Have you ever eaten one that's been or like, oh my god, this is so good. I would pay $100 for this mushroom.
No, I haven't.
So I'm wondering if Gordon Ramsay's exaggerating or if it's really that good. Like his whole show is about there are different parts of the world where there's this rare thing that is so effing good. Another thing he ate was camel in this. He ate camel. Yeah.
The hump?
Yes, he ate the hump. And they were like, the camel is still cooking, so...
It's the juiciest parts where the water's stored is what I know.
The guys are like, it's a tradition we go to the bathhouse. He goes, bathhouse? I don't need a bath. And they go, no, you do, Gordon. We all take baths. And he's like, okay. So they go to the bathhouse, and he's like, where's the bloody pool? Where's the water? He's like, oh, no, not that type of bathhouse. It's like steam bath. And he goes, oh, okay. So he's like, Gordon's like in his Speedo, and these guys come in. He's like, oh, what's these guys? And he go, they clean you off. Let them clean you. And he's like, okay. So it's like these older guys, they start rubbing all over. It kind of reminded me when Conan went to that Korean place.
Yeah.
He had these guys rubbing all over him and
Steve Young.
scrubbing him. And he's like, bloody hell, this hurts. And he's like, you lay down on the floor. And he's like, he's laying on the floor. This looks so uncomfortable. He's got these guys like holding his legs and scrubbing his feet and stuff. And, Gordon just keeps going like, bloody hell.
Got the pumice stones.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think I would want to
Taking off
do this.
5 layers of skin.
Yeah. Now, Steven, we have 2 more shows to talk about. Then we're going to take a break. First is Below Deck. And the reason I want to talk about this is there's nothing better than drunk billionaires fighting. Am I right?
Right.
There's a guy on another boat who's, I think he says he's from Norway or something. and he's a little, I don't know if he's jealous or whatever, and he's like, is that your yacht or whatever? Is that yours? And they're like, yeah, it's ours, but they really just chartered it. They don't own it. And this is still the baseball player, who I'm blanking on his name. Him and all of his friends are there, and they drink way too much. On these charters, the people just drink all day long. So when it becomes evening, they're sloshed. And so this guy was like, I want a board or whatever. And they're like, hey, can that guy come over? And they're like, oh, okay. And he comes over, and he's just drunk, and he's like, where are you guys from? And they're like, we're Americans. And he goes, you know what the problem with America is? And then I'm like, oh, shit. Meanwhile, there's a new girl who works on the boat. Her name is June, and she's not getting along with Hannah. And there's this funny conversation where she's kind of moping outside, and this one guy comes up. He's like, hey, are you doing okay? And she doesn't want to play that game. And like, oh, do you feel sorry for me? I'm a girl. You're going to come help me? And she goes like that. And he goes, what's that? And she goes, it's an invisible curtain. You can't see me anymore. And he goes, I can see you. She's just like, this conversation's over or whatever. But I love it. She goes, like that. So that's,
done.
Let's check this out.
That's great. That doesn't sound very upbeat.
You're being too hard on me.
Why is that?
It's just the vibe. Like, I'm not enjoying this at all.
What you need to do is just go to sleep and reset and wake up in your happiest mood.
Great advice.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go to sleep.
No, thanks. Yeah. For your concern.
Cool. I'll chat to you later.
Okay. Don't say this. I can handle myself.
I'm just concerned about you, that's all.
Don't be concerned and don't go ahead and try to fix it.
I'm not trying. What is there to fix?
You'll find something and you're not going to fix.
What do you mean? Are you okay?
It's my invisible curtain. This conversation's done.
What is going on?
Visible curtain.
Can we talk now? I can still see you. Are you ready to come out? See you later.
Go away. Being the new girl, you don't know who to trust. So I'm nervous that I gave him a little too much information. You ain't Captain Save-A-Ho, you know?
No randoms on the boat.
Hell yeah!
We have to check.
The gentleman next door is saying that he wants to come on our boat. Correct, yes.
I wonder if he remembers me. I worked in my very, very first season. Didn't particularly want to see him when I was working for him, so I certainly don't want to see him now.
How are you doing? I am Norway.
I'll never forget, a son came on who was 4 years old, and I said, you can't wear your shoes on deck, you know that? And he goes, they're not shoes, they're Tods. I'm like, this little prick.
Where are you all guys from?
America.
Love America. You know what the problem is today? America's pulling up. What the is going on? We love you. What the are you doing?
Fly on your own.
Oh! That was a big one.
Colin, do you want me to wake up Shawal?
The guy's like bumping into stuff.
Okay.
He's obviously.
Shawal, Hannah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, can you come up, please? There's a guy on the boat.
Back the up.
Yeah, babe, he was just shaking my hand.
Yeah, I know. We're closing up. We're closing up Press Sorrel. That's real now.
Someone invited him on. Just maybe go out and be like, hey, what's up? Get the off. In a nice way.
Guys, we're relying on you guys. Guys, we're relying on you.
Okay, I'm going to quickly make this professional.
What's their boat worth?
Let's go over and see his boat.
Hey, go check out his boat and then come back.
Come along and show, buddy.
Is that a super yacht or is that like a petite yacht?
Hey, listen, I'm the person that's in charge, and I say no.
You're a lady. I respect that.
I'm not really a lady. I'm not.
I'm confused.
Don't get confused. I'm not a lady. He's not going anywhere.
I'm not messing with her.
Okay. So, may I should just...
Listen, womp. Not happening.
May I...
Sorry.
What did I say? He's not going.
You're done.
I'm going to have to ask you very nicely.
Gets him in a bear hug.
Let's go. May I please escort you to your boat?
You're not arrested.
Yeah, please.
Take the look out of it. The second a man is physical with a woman, that's it for me.
And I'm sinking your boat tomorrow, ass mom.
Fine, stop it.
You want to come out of a drink?
Do you want me to come off the boat right now? Because I will. I rule this boat, and you don't with me, okay?
Escalate the issue.
I make this
happen, and you don't touch me.
Can we please just chill? These people need to understand that this is not Disneyland. This is Saint-Tropez, and we don't act like that here.
Drunk billionaires, people who are fighting each other. It's something that I really didn't sign up for.
Yeah, so what do you do when a bunch of billionaires are acting like drunk assholes? It's so funny and sad. And they don't seem, the next day, they're not embarrassed by their behavior at all. So why would you be, right?
You were drunk. You weren't in control.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool. I mean, what?
Yeah, I know. He kind of reminds me of that one guy from the stoner guy from RoboCop.
It's a free society.
Remember this guy?
Yeah.
Law of the jungle.
Law of the jungle. All right, Steven. BH90210. That's the name of the show. It's not Beverly Hills 90210. It's called BH90210. I watched the first episode.
I will watch it tomorrow.
Okay. Am I allowed to spoil anything for you?
Sure. Come on, it's 90210.
I said, this is bizarre, at least 3 times out loud while I was watching it.
I've read a little bit about it, so.
Do you know that they're not their characters from the show in it?
Yes.
They play themselves, but it's a fictionalized version of themselves. So Tori Spelling isn't regular Tori Spelling. She's married to an actor, Ivan Sergey, who's not her husband in real life, but he is on the show. But she kind of she had some reality shows with her real husband where they had 5 kids. So when it shows her at home, I don't know how many kids she has, but it looked like she has 10. And they have this reality show where they're filming and they're like, the network just said we're canceled. You've said everything you had to say about your family or whatever. And she's like, what am I going to do now? Because she's broke. She doesn't have any money. So she's trying to think of how to earn some money. And everyone's like, wasn't your dad rich? She goes, it's a long story. And so they're all the cast is supposed to meet up at this reunion convention kind of thing that I've never seen really exists at all. And I've never seen anything like this except at a comic book convention or something. But this is like a 90210 type of thing, right?
So they're not Brandon Walsh. He's actually Jason Priestley.
Jason Priestley is himself, but he's not really himself. He's married to someone that's not his wife, and he's like a director. And it's funny because Gabriel Carteres in real life is president of the Actors Guild.
Right.
So he gets pissed at this young, shitty actor, and he punches him in the face. And then they show Gabrielle Carter. She gets a call, and she goes, he did what? And so she has to, confront him about the guy he punched. Ian Ziering, he has this very young wife who's into fitness and stuff, and he wants to sell, her books on exercise and stuff. So he's really pushing for her career. Jenny Garth, she mostly, I think she's gone through another divorce, and she kind of is, she kind of doesn't like the whole 90210 thing. She kind of resents it, and she doesn't like when people call her Kelly or whatever. I'm Jenny. And Brian Austin Green, he's married to a famous singer, like a Rihanna or something, and he has 3 daughters, and he's like a house husband. And so he's really kind of feels like his career's over and he's not going anywhere. He's just a dad. And he's fine with that, but people only ask him about his wife ever. Even at this 90210 thing, they're like, hey, when's your wife's new album coming out? And he goes, you'd have to ask her. I don't know. But I am her biggest fan. And they're like, ah. And there's even a moment where one of them says, oh, look at us. The gang's all back together. And Jason Priestley's like, not all of us. And they all kind of look at each other and they're like, oh. And they're thinking about Luke. And there's this goofy part when they're up on stage and they're like, guys, when's the last time you've seen Shannon Doherty? And they all kind of roll their eyes and they're like, it's been years. And they're like, guess what? She's Skype calling us right now. And she comes up on a screen. She's like, hi, everybody. And you see him going, oh, God, please. And she's like, I wanted to make you guys aware of my special charity where we save Bengal tigers. And she holds up a little, cub, and they're like, "Oh," and she goes, "Well, if you go to this website, you could donate money and everything," and they're just all like, "Oh, please." But they actually show a little subplot there. They don't show us much where it looks like she's getting out of town, like she's packing her stuff real quickly. Like, I don't know if she's a con artist or something or what, but they all have these weird fictional side stories going on, which is hilarious. And the whole thing, here's a clip. Let me play the clip real quick before I forget. This is where Jenny Garth and Tori Spelling show up to the convention, and the guy at the counter doesn't even know who they are. He has no idea what 90210 is.
$40 a t-shirt and we don't see a dime. No wonder I can't pay my rent. Well, we made it.
May I help you?
Yep, we're checking in for the reunion panel.
Name?
Jenny Garth. Jenny Garth. I'm on the show that's having the big reunion party. Kelly Taylor.
So is the reservation under Garth or Taylor?
My name is Jenny Garth. I play Kelly Taylor on the show.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
Oh, you look so much older than her. If I could just see some ID, I could figure out which name the reservation is under.
It's a cardboard cutout. You look so much older than her.
Wants to see my ID?
Yeah, here's her ID right here. Sorry, she has low blood sugar. Come here. Can I talk to you for a second?
I'm going to destroy this place on TripAdvisor.
Okay, I get that you're edgy. I feel edgy too. In fact, I didn't think I was going to be this nervous. I am so nervous. I haven't seen Brian in almost 20 years. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit.
Okay, he's married. You're married. You guys both have kids.
And I understand that, but we still have a history. I lost my virginity to him on the show. Life imitates art, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah, okay, just breathe.
I feel like I'm sweating so bad. Do I smell? Oh, no.
Jen, I stink. I didn't want to say anything.
Okay, I gotta go to the room. I'm gonna freshen up and... Nope, he's right there.
I thought it was creepy they play the theme as they're all coming down.
I'm gonna switch out. Oh, there's Susan. Oh, God, I have it. Oops.
Yeah!
Well, this is weird. Oh, come on, we're all thinking it.
I like that the anniversary brought us together. I can't believe that we are all here.
I wish that were true.
Well, it's still great to see all you guys. Come here, you.
It really is. It was really strange, but at the same time, I didn't hate it. What's funny is it begins... As it begins, it's at the Peach Pit, and they are all their characters. Like, there's kind of like exposition, like, Kelly, I can't believe you bought the Peach Pit. She's like, yeah, well, thanks for helping me run it, Brandon. And he's like, yeah, well, I need to show you the ropes. And he's waiting tables. And it's kind of like, wow, that's some weird exposition. Like, they've established in the first minute that she now owns the Peach Pit. And then Donna and David show up, and they're talking about when he puts on some Color Me Bad on the jukebox, and she goes, I remember this song. And he's like, remember when we used to make out to this song? And she's like going, David. And I was like, this is so goofy. And then like all of a sudden the doors open and Shannon Doherty comes in, and she goes, Brenda, she's supposed to be in London. And she like screams, and she like sits up on bed, and she goes, oh my God, I thought that was real. And so they're kind of like playing with stuff, and they're being very silly at the same time. Like, Tori Spelling is really making fun of her life. There's at one point where even Jenny Garth says, they're like, Tori, how come you can't take care of yourself? And Jenny Garth's like, she grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth. She was filthy rich. She doesn't know how to do anything. And she just kind of like makes her feel bad. And she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And she's just kind of like, well, it is true. Like, she doesn't know how to do anything because she's used to being rich, and now she's poor, apparently. So basically it comes down to when they come home from the trip, Tori Spelling's kids are watching 90210 on TV, and she's like, why are they watching this? And he's like, they wanted to see their mom. So you guys were in the news, and the reason they're in the news is because Donna sees a purse. She sees her dress, her red prom dress from the episode of 90210, And she sees it's like worth all this money. And she goes, that can't be worth all this money. This is mine. This is my property. You guys can't have this. Who owns this? This is mine. And they're like, Tori, come on, we got to go. And she takes the thing, she smashes the glass, and she grabs the dress, and they all run out, and security's chasing them. So they fly home on Brian Austin Green's wife's Learjet. And when they land, the police are waiting for them, and they arrest them. And so they show like headlines like cast of 90210 arrested for theft. And it's all over like TMZ and stuff. And when she gets home, her husband is like, the kids saw you on the news. They want to know what this 90210 thing was. Mm-hmm. So they're watching the episode, and she's like, oh my God, that's it. We need to bring it back. And Jenny Garth's like, are you kidding me? She goes, no, this is what we need to do. And that's like the end. But right at the TV shows, it shows Luke Perry. He drives up, Dylan drives up, and it freeze frames on his face, and it says, in loving memory, or whatever. So it's interesting.
Did you tear up with that?
I did a little. I was like, aw, Luke. So, Steven, are you ready to see that?
Yes.
I wonder what that one guy thought of the BH 90210 premiere.
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool. I mean, what?
I like how he's like, there's no way to... He's like,
sounded like a beer can getting flattened. It just was crunch. It was.
And he just has like this cadence, but he never stops talking where he makes a clean drop that I can make. Well, Steven, before we go on break, I wanted to say this. My wife and I are loving 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Hulu's new series. And a special plug for my wife. She loves this series called Dairy Girls on Netflix. And season 2 just came out on Netflix. I watched it with her. It's a hilarious show. It takes place in Ireland. Northern Ireland in the 80s.
90s.
In the 90s. And it's a hilarious show. You need to check it out.
And it's very sweet and poignant.
Each season is 6 episodes. You could blow through 2 seasons just like that. And it's really funny.
It's the best.
All right, guys. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
It's my invisible curtain. This conversation's done.
Smurfs will return after these messages.
If you own ColecoVision, you already own a powerful state-of-the-art computer that gives you the arcade experience with the newest arcade games like Donkey Kong Jr., Looping, Pepper 2, Time Pilot, Mr. Do, Space Fury, Frontline, arcade controls like Turbo, the Roller Controller, and new Super Action Sports. And soon you'll plug in Atom, the revolutionary ColecoVision family computer module with new super games, keyboard, and printer. ColecoVision, the only system you'll ever need.
Chewing Bubblicious gets that juicy flavor going. With the ultimate in flavor for delicious bubble blowing. Delicious! The ultimate bubble has the ultimate flavor. Orange, ripe raspberry, watermelon, wild strawberry. Bubblicious has the ultimate flavor. It's got the taste you just can't resist. Bubblicious!
My husband is about to eat a new candy. New super fruity bonkers. My son thought bonkers was gum. He knows it's candy now. Chewy fruity candy with this extra fruity inside. So super fruity when you eat bonkers fruit candy.
Bonkers. Bonks you out.
Some candy.
Alvin Simon Theater. The collection. Each in really cute outfits. You can collect them one at a time or in sets. And pretend to play ball with Simon. But you know what's best about them? Their funny little faces. The Chipmunk Collectibles. Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. Sold separately or in sets for free. New from Ideal.
Oh, those little Keebler elves make uncommonly good cookies. Next, they do it magically in a hollow tree. To make these Keebler swirly cubes takes ingenuity.
swirl in the chocolate.
The elves swirl a river of real chocolate through delicious shortbread cookies. So there's a taste of chocolate in every bite of Swirly Q's.
Next, in the Keebler Hollow Tree, where we make crackers and cookies uncommonly good.
Barbie motorbike.
You put it together. Great shape Barbie doll sold separately.
Where to, Barbie? She's gonna cruise the avenue on her beautiful new motorbike. Wow! Rev it up. Sounds great! It's got all the right stuff. Even a safety helmet and backpack. Barbie, you'll be sensational on your motorbike. Cruising down the avenue.
The Barbie motorbike comes with a safety helmet and backpack and everything you see here. Barbie sold separately. New from Mattel.
Hershey, Hershey, Hershey. It's a fun one. Hershey, Hershey, Hershey. Ooh, chocolate fun. Pure milk chocolate. Delicious and smooth. Oh, if you don't believe me, I'll prove it to you. When you take a bite, oh, you'll say I'm right. Hershey, Hershey, Hershey. It's a fun one. Oh, Hershey, Hershey, Hershey. Ooh, chocolate fun. I see. It tastes so wonderfully. And all that vitamin C. That's why you love High C.
Introducing High C Peach and Cherry in the drink box. They're so cool and so delicious.
That's why you love High C.
You can imagine they're from another world. Mighty robots disguised as mighty vehicles. You can pretend only you and the friendly GoBots can save the Earth from the enemy GoBots. You're trapped, Turbo.
Leader, one to the rescue.
They hide among us as earthly vehicles, but you can change them into robots, each sold separately.
Take this, Psycho. Now who's trapped?
GoBots. Leader 1, Turbo, and Cycle, each sold separately. New from Tonka.
Sometimes a man just needs to be alone with his Fruit Chewy Newton's cookies.
Jimmy!
New Apple Newtons with Fruit Chewy chunks of real apple.
Hey, Jimbo, where are you?
And Fig Newtons, too.
I know you're here somewhere, and I know you've got those Fruit Chewy Newtons.
Fig Newtons and new Apple Newtons for Fruit Chewy fun.
Let you ride my bike.
The disco.
Hi, I'm Sarah Purcell, and I'll be right back with One to Grow On.
She's a honeycomb kid.
It's no fun getting up with the sun, but next week is it, the big hurdle race, and I want to win. Working to win means eating right, too, like honeycomb cereal as part of a good breakfast. Honeycomb's real big and crunchy. It really helps me recharge.
That's a honeycomb kid. Honeycomb, the big bite gets you going right.
Clay, you can't stay in there forever. Come on out.
Go away, Ellen.
I'm sorry that David died, but does that mean you died too?
Can't you understand? David was my best friend. Now leave me alone.
Oh, I know. It's never easy when someone you really care about dies. I know it makes you sad, but you have to go on living. Your friend wouldn't want you to spend your whole life feeling the way you feel now. And remember, even though your friend's gone, he can keep living in those good memories you have in your heart.
Clay, come on out.
Ellen, I know you're trying to help, but you want to come to the park with me? I'll show you where David and I built a secret fort a few years ago.
Yeah. Clay.
What?
It's nice having a brother again.
And that's One to Grow On.
Rebo's got the beat, and the band plays on. You can relive it all with Kenner's Star Wars Return of the Jedi Collection. Introducing Cy Snoodles and the Rebo Band. Jabba the Hutt action playset sold separately.
Play it again, Cy. Starring Cy Snoodles, Droopy McCool on clarinet, Max Rebo on organ. Ribbit Rebo. There, Stroopy. It's your last solo, Snoodles. Whoa!
New size Snoodles in the Rebo Band. Jabba the Hutt action playset sold separately from Kenner's Star Wars Return of the Jedi collection.
Here are a few words about Levi's jeans and cords.
Go straight. Go straight. Okay. Go down. Go down. Say what? Go down. Get down. Oh, down. Oh, go down.
I got it. You get it.
Levi's.
SpaghettiOs presents Mr. O and his lunchtime show.
Today, Professor Popple has cooked up some nutritious dishes.
Protein is important to children, so ta-da! Protein Power Punch! And for iron, my steam iron stew. Well, what do kids like at noon?
Eat round spaghetti you can eat with a spoon.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. And SpaghettiOs with meatballs are more than just delicious, they're nutritious.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Alfie, the bees are missing from alphabet.
Nancy McEvil again.
Get him, Alfie.
Post-alphabet cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. It's doggone good.
Who's that turning on your wheels? Who's that riding at your heels? Who's got lots of fun appeal? It's Alfie. Bike Reflectors, Alfie. Bike Reflector and Fun Club games in each specially marked box of post-alphabet cereal.
Welcome, freshmen, to Montclair High School. This year, this class is special because this year, this class is challenged.
Oh, great.
I call it so big, are you gonna be late? Why does everyone look older than you?
Do you have a pass? Oh, I'm looking for my homeroom.
I need your pass.
I'm new here.
I need your pass. Why can't you go in the right direction? How come you don't know what to do?
Welcome to Agronomy 2.
Whoops. By the end of the day, you're finding your place. Learning the ropes, learning the pace. Time to get away to our place. For the good time, great days.
50 pages tonight? Oh, great.
The good time, great days.
Tomorrow will be better.
You mean we gotta go back? Of McDonald's.
We now return to Smurf.
I'm gonna have me some fun. 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 I'm gonna have me some fun.
Wah, 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 wah.
I hope you had a hell of a piss, Arnold.
What? Indeed, we did. Hi, guys. We're back.
She can't get to school now.
Oh, dear. Well, guys, we're back, and it's time to do some news.
You know, destruction. Yeah, you know, that's why we go to demolition derbies. But hey.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Stephen, Will Ferrell appeared as Ron Burgundy last night on 6 late-night shows. But why?
I saw and I turned the channel.
CBS's Stephen Colbert and James Corden, NBC's Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers, ABC's Jimmy Kimmel, and TBS's Conan O'Brien were all set to welcome a special surprise guest on the respective Thursday night broadcast, and that guest was none other than Ron Burgundy. In a series of previously recorded segments, Will Ferrell appeared in character as his Anchorman alter ego. Wait, they were pre-recorded? I didn't realize that. It would have been better if he showed up as the show was going on, you know. Now it's not as spectacular anymore, is it?
It's still spectacular.
Each appearance consisted of a completely original stand-up comedy routine, followed in some cases by a sit-down interview. In fact, O'Brien and Colbert had no other guests. Farrell remained in character throughout, and not a single host referred to him by his actual name, which is Will Ferrell, in case you weren't keeping track. Burgundy first showed up on Conan, which airs at 11 p.m. No, it airs 10 here. Oh, that's a typo. They got it wrong, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't time zones, are there?
What?
The following half hour, he appeared
Eastern
simultaneously
time,
on The Late Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Tonight Show. Colbert and Kimmel welcomed Burgundy for his exclusive stand-up comedy debut, while Fallon sat down with Burgundy as part of an extended dream sequence. I bet that was funny. So why the late night stunt? Will Ferrell was making the rounds to promote Season 2 of the Ron Burgundy podcast. When asked what listeners could expect, Burgundy told Kimmel, "We're releasing a lot of the podcast in Braille." Now, Stephen, is that a funny answer?
No.
Really? It's not that bad.
Okay, well, that was an interesting stunt he pulled. I had no idea he had a podcast. Did you?
Yes, I did know the Ron Burgundy podcast existed.
You have to realize that you have a trend.
Everyone has a podcast now. I wonder if that one guy has listened to it.
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool. I mean, what?
All right, Steven. Paramount is prepping another G.I. Joe spinoff.
Nice.
How awesome is that?
Who wants a body massage?
Paramount Pictures is in early development on another G.I. Joe spinoff with Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle scribes Josh Applebaum and
somebody else,
Andre Nemec. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm pretty excited, Stephen. So it says Paramount has another G.I. Joe picture on slate. Snake Eyes, based on the Hasbro toy, is the silent masked ninja commando who is part of the original members of the G.I. Joe team. The character was featured in G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, and G.I. Joe Retaliation, played by Ray Park, who also was... The release date for this film was recently moved... Huh?
Darth Maul?
Yes, that's right, Stephen.
Okay.
I was just waiting for you to say that.
As long as Darth Maul is around.
The previous two G.I. Joe films grossed $670 million. That's a lot of money. Okay, that's your story, Stephen. Did you like that?
Yes.
Okay, here's another one.
Enjoyed it very much.
It's pretty excited. I mean, I will say this. We both saw the G.I. Joe, the second one with The Rock. Remember seeing that in the theater with me?
Pork chop sandwiches!
That was pretty good. And then we had pork chop
It's
sandwiches.
going to be the G.I. Joe cooking show.
Treadstone teaser. USA Network series is set in the Jason Bourne sleek spy mythology. It's a TV show in the Jason Bourne universe, Stephen.
Okay.
Pretty exciting, huh? USA Network just released a teaser trailer for Treadstone, the espionage thriller that premieres in October, with a tale that is set within the sleek and brutal world of super spy Jason Bourne. I already said that, but I didn't say it as good as that. The title is a reference to Operation Treadstone, the mysterious CIA Black Ops program that author Robert Ludlum invented for his 1980s classic. I had pizza before the show. 1980 classic, The Bourne Identity, which also introduced the amnesiac spy known as Jason Bourne. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, you are.
The Ludlum bookshelf series was adapted to the big screen in the high-intensity Universal Picture film. I like how these stories kind of tell if somebody's like lived on a deserted island and they've been rescued and now they're reading the story because they have no idea what the Jason...
there's a movie or two, maybe 3.
The film series has included 5 films, 4 of them
5?
starring Matt Damon. Matt Damon, known as Good Will Hunting. If you haven't seen that film, it also stars... It's like, God, it just goes on and on. The synopsis for Treadstone from the network...
Here's his IMDb movie list.
Yes. Read this first and then get back to my story. The series explores the origin story and... Wait... and present-day actions of the infamous covert program that uses behavior modification protocol to turn recruits into nearly superhuman assassins. That is awesome! That sounds so cool, man.
An alien assassin.
No, not an alien assassin.
No.
The first season of Treadstone follows sleeper agents across the globe as they're mysteriously awakened to resume their deadly missions. Oh, or is it to resume their deadly missions?
Yeah, they have to give their resume so they know that they're good at killing.
The TV series stars Jeremy Irvine. Oh, him? Tracy I Feature. Okay. Omar Metwally. Oh, yeah, that guy. Brian J. Smith. That dude owes me money. Hayo Juhan. Gabrielle Charnitsky. Amelia Schul, and Michelle Forbes. I've heard of Michelle Forbes. Treadstone is produced by UCP and developed by Tim Kring. Oh, wait, hold on. Time out.
Kring.
Tim Kring. Are you effing S-ing me?
Wait, time out.
That's the guy who did Heroes, Steven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, let's check out this trailer.
Tell me about Treadstone.
Treadstone. What is that?
The ultimate weapon. They don't even know they've got these skills.
Oh my
They're a
God.
cadre of sleeper agents deployed under normal
She said
lives
cadre.
with no
That's a good
memory of
word.
their training.
This fall.
These people are still out there, asleep. And someone's waking them up.
Huh?
Please don't make me do this.
So they're sleeper agents that have been asleep and now they're awoken. Brought to you by the creator of Heroes. Oh my God. A lot of punching and kicking and running and jumping on rooftops.
Confused at first. I finally know who I am.
Treadstone. I'll watch the first episode.
Okay.
Not bad, right? Looks pretty good. All right, Steven, last story. Disney's recent Fox announcements may have killed projects like Ben Affleck's McDonald's scandal film. Now, when I saw this, I got pretty upset. Do you remember me telling you about this story? Where the guy who did the McDonald's Monopoly, he ran security for it. He actually rigged it where he chose the winners and they would give him some of the money. He would choose the winners. And then it got so convoluted, it was hard for him to do. He recruited a guy in the mob who had his mob family winning the prizes. And he was investigated by the FBI for years. They had him on wiretap, hearing all of this information. And they had this huge case till they finally busted him. And there was this bidding war between all the studios trying to get the rights to this. And I heard that Martin Scorsese, he wanted the rights. He wanted to do it. It's 80s film. You know, it's McDonald's, and it involves a mob.
Gangsters.
I was thinking, how great would this be if Scorsese directed this? Yeah. But Ben Affleck and that one guy, he was in that other story. He was in Good Will Hunting. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Have you ever heard of him?
I think they're kind of know each other a little.
Yeah. They optioned it. They got the script. They won it out. But now that Disney has acquired Fox, it looks like they're going to kill the project. During a recent earnings call, Bob Iger lamented about the recent performance of the studio's newest purchase, Fox, after the terrible, terrible box office performance of Dark Phoenix, as well as other recent Fox releases. The subsidiary ended up losing $170 million in the latest quarter, leading Disney to reevaluate the future of the label. What that means is that moving forward, Disney isn't going to allow Fox just to create the same number of films that it usually does, leaving many of the projects that were seemingly in development now suddenly without the support of the studio. And someone over on Reddit decided to compile a list of the 300 films that are currently in some sort of development under the Fox brand and highlight which interesting films are likely going to find themselves on the chopping block. Of course, just because it appears that Disney is putting the kibosh on a majority of Fox projects, the label will still release Ford vs. Ferrari, Judy, Terminator Dark Fate, and James Gray's Ad Astra this year, as they were well into post-production when the deal was finalized earlier this year. It just sounds like Disney isn't going to finance the bulk of what was on the development slate in the years to come. That being said, of the Fox films in development, here are some of the ones that seem to be guaranteed. all of the Avatar sequels. There's no way Disney isn't producing these films, as the first film was the biggest film of all time for almost a decade. Bob's Burgers, the movie. Films just got an official release date. Death on the Nile, Kenneth Branagh's sequel to his Agatha Christie adaptation of Murder on the Orient Express. I never saw that, by the way.
Me neither.
Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds, action video game film. This was announced as moving forward when the Disney-Fox deal was finalized. Upcoming Kingsman films. The Kingsman had as a trailer, and Kingsman 3 has a release date and a director. New Mutants. Production is done, but the film has been delayed for years. At this point, leading us to wonder if this one might just be quietly killed off or dumped on Hulu. Planet of the Apes sequel. Just announced sequel that will be a continuation of the recent sci-fi trilogy. What? They ended. West Side Story. Production is currently underway on Steven Spielberg's upcoming musical, Woman in the Window. Woman in the Window. Though delayed, Amy Adams' film is already in post-production with reshoots pending. Huh. Well, actually, I know a guy who read the script to that, Steven.
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool. You know, I mean, what?
We'll never know what else he had to say.
You know.
So, that McDonald's story, it has to be a movie, Steven. They gotta make it, or they're fools. Bureaucratic fools. They don't know what they have there.
Could have had Scorsese.
I know. Well, I always thought Ben Affleck and Matt Damon should have hired Martin Scorsese, but maybe he wants to have this. You know, they all have their own producing partners. They don't want to kind of like...
Yeah, intermingle.
Yeah. Well, Steven, what do you say we do some DVDs? Are you ready to sing DVDs?
I'm ready.
We're going to butcher you. How about that?
Oh, don't butcher me.
Jesus. All right, here we go.
Let's do some DVDs. Let's do some DVDs. Let's do some DVDs. 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 HD. Blu-ray. Standard definition.
DVDs. Oh, hell yizzle. The DV dizzle.
Good.
Oh, I like this. Let me just have a little sip here, Steven.
Why can't I have a little drink to unwind myself?
That's right. It's
You
just a little
can.
sip of Diet Coke. Come on, man. It's Friday.
It relaxes you.
Just wet my whistle there. You know what I'm saying? I don't. This is like some art house film, Steven. But August 13th, 2019, Tuesday, Avengers Endgame hits the Blu-ray stratosphere. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, it's the most recent entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Still not ringing a bell?
Marvel sounds familiar.
It wasn't just another
What's the
box
Marvel
office
movie?
hit. It is now the highest grossing film in history, breaking a nearly 10-year-old record set by Avatar. A direct sequel to last year's Avengers Infinity War that closes out Phase 3 of the MCU, Endgame returns the Russo brothers as directors and virtually the entire cast of the prior film, joined by several returning Marvel stars who did not appear in Infinity War. The latter group includes Frank Grillo, I think it's Frank Grillo, Crossbones, and Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie, plus Jeremy Renner, whose Clint Barton adopts a new superhero identity, Ronin. What a weird thing to just tag on there. Me. Jessica says, I'm so glad the DVD song is back. Well, thank you, Jessica. It's great to see Steven in action again. Good job, Steven. The next film is called Shadow. It's a return to form from Chinese director Zhang Yimou. After the disappointment of his English language debut, The Great Wall, in fact, he's made a wuxia film based on the Chinese legend of the Three Kingdoms to rival the heights of his earlier releases, House of Flying Daggers and Hero, thanks to some remarkable imagery and memorable fight sequences, including one featuring umbrellas made of razor-sharp daggers. Sweet! I've actually seen House of Flying Daggers. It has the most ridiculous... what is that called? It's like the weird bean drum scene. They're throwing drums and...
I don't know. I don't think I've seen this one.
The House of Flying Daggers is insane. I used it in an intro a long time ago. It's pretty good. All right, the next film is called All Is True. That's coming to Blu-ray by Kenneth Branagh. Just waiting for this to load here. Okay, the year is 1613. Shakespeare is acknowledged as the greatest writer of the age, but disaster strikes when his renowned Globe Theatre burns to the ground, and devastated, Shakespeare returns to Stratford, where he must face a troubled past and a neglected family. Haunted by the death of his only son, Hamnet, he struggles to mend the broken relationships with his wife and daughters. In doing so, he is ruthlessly forced to examine his own failings as a husband and father. His very personal search for the truth uncovers secrets and lies within the family at war. I know, man. This sounds like a funny movie. Starring a bunch of people. What do you think, Steven? You going to pick that one up?
No, sir.
No, sir. All right, let's see. The next film is called Enemy Within.
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool. You know, I mean, what?
I believe you. When a Japanese pilot crash lands on the tiny remote Hawaiian island of Niihau, he is met with a courtesy and traditional Hawaiian hospitality from the locals until they discover he was part of the recent attack on Pearl Harbor. My God. Directed by Gabriel Robertson. Starring Balula Koali, Chika Kanemoto, Joseph Nahafahu, Kanahugu, Maria Walker, Matt Reedy, Melissa Paolo, Rila Fukushima, Shogun, Takashi Yamaguchi, Takuma Anzi, and Michelle Forbes. Awesome. My God.
Oh.
I just do what I can. I do my best, you know. Everybody's judging me, man.
You know, destruction. Yeah, you know, that's why we go to demolition derbies, but hey.
Yeah, I know. But hey, Steven, the next film is called Finding Steve McQueen. When an unlikely gang of thieves attempt to steal a $30 million in illegal campaign contributions from President Richard Nixon's secret fund, the plan quickly goes sideways, prompting the biggest manhunt in FBI history. Directed by Mark Steven Johnson, starring Forrest Whitaker, Jake Weary, John Finn, John Lily Robb. It stars Forrest Whitaker, Steven. How cool is that? You want to see that?
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool.
Forrest Whitaker. He's a good,
you know, I mean, what?
He's a pretty good actor.
I know. Love Forrest Whitaker. So he stars in that. Nobody else does. Because I can't pronounce their names, so we're going to move on. Now, let's go on to the next film.
Guy, what, you know, doesn't like, you know.
Yeah, I know. What? The next film is called Lying and Stealing. It's directed by Matt Asselton. Okay. This film came out in, I guess it's a recent release, 2019. Ivan is a gifted and discerning art thief who wants out. Elise is an aspiring actress whose own past transgressions in Hollywood haunt her. Why am I talking in this accent, Stephen?
I don't know.
As well as a mountain of debt. These two outsiders are drawn to each other, starring Eris Alvarado, Davy Blue, Emily Ratajkowski, Fernanda. Okay, it's just starring people. Theo James is in it. All right, I can say your name, buddy. Awesome. Have you heard of any of these films, Steven?
No. Are you sure these are real movies?
Steven, Avengers Endgame. Remember that one? That one's out.
I think I saw that once.
Oh, check this out. I can't believe this show's been on this long. Our next film is...
Sounded like a beer can getting flattened. It just was crunch. It was...
Yeah, that's right. It's The Blacklist Season 6. Liz seeks the truth about Red after learning he isn't who he said he was, even as she and the FBI track down more criminals who said he was something else. And with his help in the 6th season of the drama, they find out he's not who he said he was in recent seasons, but he is the other person. Oh.
That is the most convoluted
Who the hell is he?
description ever.
I know. I like...
Do you watch The Blacklist there?
The Blacklist. Not anymore. We watched it season 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm still watching it. I enjoy it.
Wow. Season 6, man.
What's happening?
I have no idea. Aw, damn it.
I can't spoil it for everyone.
Steven.
I know they're all going to buy this DVD and watch it.
Mr. Mercedes season 2.
Oh, nice. Did you enjoy the Mr. Mercedes?
I've never watched any of it.
What?
I've never watched any Mr. Mercedes.
How dare you?
How is season 2?
I enjoy, they're getting ready to do a season 3, which is the last of the books. The
Which
end
was
of Watch.
Which was the best season? First one or second one?
Jeez, I can't. Maybe the second one.
Oh, okay. I need to check it out. I do. Homeland season 7. Jesus, can't believe that show's still on. New Amsterdam season 1. I enjoy that show very much. It's a hospital drama type show. Mm-hmm. I watch a lot of cheesy TV, Stephen. I watch quality television, but I also watch stuff like this. New medical director Dr. Max Goodwin seeks to return the hospital to its former glory with a staff that includes Dr. Hannah Sharp, ER Dr. Laura Bloom, attending cardiac surgeon. Why do they say their names like it helps at all? Anyway, he's New Amsterdam. He's trying to
a hospital with a bad reputation. He's trying to make it have a good reputation
because it's all about insurance and making money and stuff. But he's like, it must be about the patient. Heart of gold. I gotta say, it ended on quite the cliffhanger. I can't wait to see what happens there.
I just had too many shows I was watching to add that one to the mix.
I know.
I smell? Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, Steven, one more thing. Oh, and just one more thing. The Spanish Princess on Starz.
You're not going to pronounce any of these names.
The third series, based on Philippa Gregory's Tudor dynasty novels, focuses on Catherine of Aragon, played by Charlotte Hope, as she arrives to marry Prince Arthur, only to have him die suddenly. With her future in doubt, she seeks to solidify her position with her husband's brother, Prince Harry. The future of King Henry the 8. Okay. The V represents 5, and then you add the 3 to it, so it's 8. That's how I know Roman numerals and stuff, Steven.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, I mean, I try my best,
Guy, doesn't like,
Yeah, I mean, come on, Steven? Well, Steven,
he likes to crash up derbies.
What do you say we read some Rotten Tomatoes?
Sure, let's read them.
Do it!
You say either, I say either. You say neither, and I say neither. Either, either, and neither, neither. Let's call the whole thing off. Yes, you like potatoes, I like potato. You like tomato, I like tomato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off.
Smell like stale tomato juice.
This little prick.
Okay. Well, Steven, would you like me to read some
reviews?
Reviews of some movies that have just come out?
My answer is no.
Oh, geez. Tom Skerritt doesn't want. All right, Steven. The first film is called The Kitchen. Must be a cooking movie. Let's see. Based on the
Melissa
Vertigo.
went to see this tonight.
I thought this was interesting. It's a DC Entertainment film. It's based on a Vertigo comic book series. The film stars Oscar nominee Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, and Elizabeth Moss as 3 1978 Hell's Kitchen housewives whose mobster husbands are sent to prison. Left with little but a sharp axe to grind, the ladies take the Irish mafia's matters into their own hands, proving unexpectedly adept at everything from running the rackets to take out the competition, literally. Interesting. Let's check it out. It's directed by Andrea Berloff, starring Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, Elizabeth Moss. I already said that. Domhnall Gleeson, James Badge-Dale, and Brian Darcy. It's Darcy. It's D''ARCY. So do I pronounce it? Darcy?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's exactly how you
It's
do
pretty
it.
fancy. Pete Travers says, first of all, 22% rotten. Pete Travers says, McCarthy, Haddish, and Moss, oh, what a movie The Kitchen could have been. But oh, what an unholy disaster it is. An early contender for worst of the year.
Wow.
1.5.
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool.
Oh, that guy liked
You know, I mean, what...
David Sims says, I spent most of the running time wondering if the film had been hastily re-edited or cut down from a more sprawling length. Anything to explain the chaos playing out on screen. Okay. Oliver Jones of The Observer says, give us real characters. Give us good writing. Give us a compelling story. Otherwise, don't bother. 1 out of 4.
Wow.
Holy shit. Ann Donahue of IndieWire says, a profoundly troubling examination of the theocracy that wields power behind the scenes in Washington, D.C., B+. I have a feeling this review is in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
It takes place in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
So this fresh review is in the wrong spot. How sad is that? Brian Lowry of CNN.com says, although there are some solid moments, the resulting concoction is a bit of a mess. That kind that makes one wish these very busy, in-demand performers were a bit more selective. Jocelyn Novak says, it happens to be in even the best kitchens, you bring together top quality ingredients and promise a promising recipe, but somehow the end results come out tasting wrong, just wrong. 1.5 out of 4. Francis Conkin of Winnipeg says, with a talented cast but confusing clashes of genre and comedic tones, it's disappointing that nothing cooked in the kitchen tastes particularly good. 2 out of 5. Joy Child says, the kitchen had enough in the clip to shoot out something greater, but the trigger was never pulled. 2.5 out of 5. Anlee Ellingson says, it's an empowering fantasy. Unfortunately, their rise to power feels like it's too facile. And the storytelling lacks flair. Jenny Miller says, the women's motivations are a weird, reductive melange of female empowerment, but not everything about a starring woman needs to be empowering. Okay? Rolando Gallego says, the kitchen takes advantage of its feminist spirit to create a story rooted in the crime genre that never loses its rhythm. And I'm losing my voice. Perry Nemiroth says, McCarthy, Haddish, and Moss seem to give the roles their all, but the kitchen is so disjointed that the effort is for naught. The movie's big finish is one of the most unsatisfying, disappointing endings I've seen all year. Oh my God. Can you believe this?
Stop it. I can believe it.
So apparently it's a shitty movie, Steven.
I'll have to ask Melissa. Her and her son went to go see it tonight.
Oh dear.
I hope
it'd be funny. It's like, so what'd you think of the movie? It sucked. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, Steven, the next film is called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Ooh. It's 1968 in America. Change is blowing in the wind, but seemingly far removed from the unrest in the cities is the small town of Mill Valley, where for generations the shadow of the Bellows family has loomed large. It is in their mansion on the edge of town that Sarah, a young girl with horrible secrets, turns her tortured life into a series of scary stories, written a book that has transcended time, stories that have a way of becoming all too real for a group of teenagers who discovered Sarah's terrifying tome. Oh my God. I'm pretty scared, Steven.
Suddenly, the chase turns all too real.
I know. Andrea Gronval says, after the movie's 81% fresh, if there was ever a case of a film adaptation improving on the original source material, this is it. Fresh. Brian Lowry says, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is a sort of welcome throwback, a horror movie cleverly designed to be more spooky than truly grisly. Fresh. Oliver Jones says, an effective answer to the question of what to do with the kids who have aged out of trick-or-treating but still want to do something fun. 2.5 out of 4, fresh. That's confusing. Adam Graham, but that's fresh to you, right?
It's over 2%.
Wasn't the other movie 2.5 out of 4 and it was rotten, though?
Yes.
Adam Graham says, Alvin Schwartz's popular series of children's horror books comes to life in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I think Emma wanted to see this, and we saw the trailer, and I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not watching this. A fun, lively adaptation that pays tribute Alvin Schwartz's popular series of children's horror books comes to life in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. A fun, lively adaptation that pays due homage to the original. Stephen, how do you pronounce this word?
Homage.
Homage.
I say homage too.
Homage.
Okay, if you say so.
Crazy computer doesn't know how to.
Pretentious computer.
Do a silent H.
She needs to go back to school and learn how to say that word.
She can't get to school now.
While it doesn't break any new ground, there's plenty of vintage fun to be had with kids who feel their way through life's impending fears and live to tell the tale. 3 out of 4. I'm Thomas Lafley at RogerEbert.com. Buy me a drink sometime.
Why can't I have a little drink to unwind myself?
You can. No one's telling you not to. Kimberly Elizabeth says, from the website Nightmare on Film Street, very clever, Scary Stories, the movie, might just scare your kids as much as the book scared you. I give it an 8 out of 10. Whoa.
Nice.
Fausto Fernandez from Fotogramas says, Del Toro has made his own spiderweb guiding plot to give cohesion to several of Schwartz's most iconic pieces. Okay, Guillermo del Toro produced the movie.
Yes.
He's credited as one of the writers. Okay. Now this is the film I'm really excited about, Stephen, after I wet my whistle here for a second.
Is it La La Lorna?
Last time La Luna. I'm waiting for the site to load, Stephen. Here, let's play some non-licensed music. Alright, let's see what we got here. Still loading. Hey everybody, I'm the J-Str. I do a podcast called Entertainment Landfill. We were once called Nowhere in Mulberry back in 2005, but we changed it around 2010 or 2011 or 2012 or 2013 or 2014. I don't quite remember.
Somewhere.
But I don't do the show alone. I also do it with Stephen the Pop Culture Zealot.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Come and listen to our show.
Yeah. We'll talk to you about stuff like film, television, pop culture, and video games, and Blu-ray releases, and Rotten Tomatoes, and whatever Gordon Ramsay did. Also, sometimes we'll talk about other things, like people. Yeah, that's right, like this guy.
She can't get to school now.
That's right. Or like this guy.
Good.
That's music.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, exactly.
That's Gordon Ramsay. We already talked about it.
It sounded like a beer can getting flattened. It just was crunch. It was.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah!
So, guys, that's our show, Entertainment Landfill. You don't want to listen, do you? I wouldn't either, because I'm confused.
You ain't Captain Save-A-Ho, you know?
And I'm not Captain Save-A-Ho, whatever that is.
Can I smell? Oh, no.
Yes, you do. All right, guys, let's get back to the action. Let's see if that website is loaded. All right, that was a good promo. What do you think?
Cut it.
Dora and the Lost City of Gold, 82% fresh. You know what's funny is when Emma was young, we sat through many episodes of Dora the Explorer.
Okay.
My wife and I. And so when this trailer came out, we were like, let's go see this. This will be fun. Heather's on board. I'm on board. Emma's like, no. She's grown out of it. Too bad. Having spent most of her life exploring the jungle with her parents, nothing could prepare Dora for her most dangerous adventure ever. High school. Oh, Stephen, she's got to get to high school.
She can't get to school now.
Always the explorer, Dora quickly finds herself leading Boots, her best friend, which also happens to be a monkey, Diego, a mysterious jungle inhabitant, and a ragtag group of teens on a live-action adventure to save her parents, played by Ava Longoria and Michael Pena, and solve impossible mysteries behind a lost city of gold. Now, this could be really cheesy and stuff, right? But it's 82% fresh. Kate Erbland of IndieWire says, if only every big screen adaptation of a beloved existing property could feel this funny and fresh, there'd be less to fear about an industry besieged by recycled material that never take risks. I give it a B+. This is a tour de force in filmmaking. Oh, wow. Adam Graham of Detroit News says, a straightforward approach to a Dora movie would have played to a limited audience. This Dora is out to win over a much bigger audience, and what Dora sets her mind to, she achieves. I give it a B+ also, just like Kate. Oh, wow. He must know
read
her.
Kate's review.
Yeah. Randy Cordova of Arizona Republic says, even if you've never watched a whole episode of Dora the Explorer, you'd have to be a Grinch not to be slightly charmed by this whole thing, like I am, a 97-year-old man. Oh, creepy. Kristen Page Kirby of Washington Post said, why did that make me laugh? Sure. 97-year-old man watching Dora. It's creepy.
Stop it.
I'm trying. I think I'm delirious. Kristen Page Kirby says, sure, there may be a nugget or two of gold in Lost City, but it mostly stays lost. In this convoluted drag of a script, Dora should have picked a path and stayed on it. Instead, it's a movie that is muy aburrido, equals boring. Go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood instead with all of your kids. That doesn't make any sense. You can't take kids to go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Helen O'Hara of Time Out says, Time Out, it's charming, and its gang of weirdos deliver an old-fashioned Goonie-style adventure. Though the Find the Archaeological Site plot is overly familiar, I still give it a 3 out of 5. That means it's fresh. Bye. Okay, bye. Christy Lemire of RogerEbert.com says, Dora in the Lost City of Gold manages to ride a fine line between being true... Hey, Steven, Dora in the Lost City of Gold manages to ride a fine line between being true to the characters and conventions of the series and affectionately skewering them. 3 out of 4. The funniest thing about Dora is it's like interactive. It's not like a video game, but she goes, do you see the cactus? And you're like, yes. Clink, or whatever. So in the trailer, she's like, hola, do you see so-and-so? And her parents are like, who is she talking to? And he's like, I don't know. And it's kind of funny. You know,
they do a little play on it, yes.
Yeah. Jeff Mitchell of the Phoenix Film Festival says, Isabella Moner earns a sizable pile of silver. 3 out of 4. I guess she plays Dora.
Okay.
Hope Madden says, so remember, high school is a horrible nightmare. Be yourself and no swiping. I give it a 3. A 3 of what? We got to know what it's out of, or it doesn't make any sense.
3 of 3.
She broke the system, Steven. Kiko Martinez says, Dora's pretty hot. Oh, my God. Perv, said 97-year-old Kiko Martinez. Dirty old man. Jesus.
We're going to butcher you. How about that?
Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. I'm pretty scared now. Don't butcher me. All right, Stephen, let's read one more review. What do you say? Let's see what Sean Chandler of Sean Chandler Talks About has to say. Okay, Sean Chandler.
I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah. Hey, you wow us. The film frequently goes for a low-hanging fruit to entertain the audience, but it is a passable family adventure. I give it a B-.
You know, it's uncanny. You sound just like him.
That guy's like, dude, I'm from Albuquerque. Why is he doing my voice like that? Felix Vasquez Jr. of Cinema Craze says, garners a contagious sense of optimism and adventure. I give it a fresh tomato. Okay, let's read a bad review. Peter Sobzinski. Remember this guy?
Yes.
There have been far worse family-oriented movies in recent months than this one, but unless you are under the age of 9, which I'm not, I'm 48 years old, there's no burning reason to uncover this particular relic. Why did my job make me review this? I hate this. I wish I would have gone into accounting. Oh my God. So he's a paid film reviewer, but he'd rather be an accountant.
He sucks.
He does suck. Well, guys, that's DVDs this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning this in. Oh, wait. Well, guys, that's Rotten Tomatoes this week. Hey, Steven, do me a favor. Go stand over there.
Okay.
Okay, I'll meet you there in 2 seconds.
See you in a minute.
Steven, I think I broke the show. What would you rate this show?
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool.
I'm gonna rate it a 3.
I mean, what?
A 3 out of what? Just 3.
3. You figure the rest out.
Hey, Steven, go stand by that 97-year-old man. Be right back.
Why can't I have a little drink to unwind myself?
Thank you. Good night. Here all week, try the veal. And scene.
This is not Disneyland.
Any more brain busters?
Get off my back!
Oh, dear. Oh, my gosh.
I'm never coming back to school! Never!
I think I said that pretty much every day after the day of school ended. I would say that running home. Hey, it's not funny. Hey, everybody, that was the show, Entertainment Landfill episode 310, and I want to remind you guys, I'm reading The Witcher book series. I'm not reading a book called The Witcher. It's the introduction of the Witcher character called The Last Wish. I have about 20 pages left, Steven. Ross just told me he finished it, and I am...
According to page count, I have got about 300 left.
Well, I want to do a show next week, a book show, record it. I'm going to take notes all week. If you're not caught up by then, I know Ross wants to do a show with me. Maybe, I don't know. But I want to do a show, I want to keep going. You know what I'm saying? So.
You mean you want to see one through?
Yes, I want to see one through. What does that mean, Steven?
Nothing.
Brilliant.
Steven, what are you saying?
You're cheating.
Nuh-uh. Okay, so after I read this book, I want to do a show, book show on it, and then go to the next book. I've already purchased the next book, and I wonder if anybody else is reading these. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Steven, are you enjoying what you've read so far?
Yes.
Maybe first...
I've gotten to... he's talking to the king right now.
Okay. So you haven't quite in... Do you know what a striga is?
Yes.
Okay.
Stop it.
No, we do. Come on. But, I got to say that I really appreciated Mike's voicemail. That was really nice what he said about podcasters' podcasts.
Yes.
It was very heartwarming.
It's humble pie.
Oh, yes, it is. Bob Roberts, hey, watch some more Rook. I know you're going to love it. Right?
Give it a shot.
I know one guy who watched it.
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool. I mean, what?
And we never heard from him again. Well, guys, please go to etlandfill.com. There you can find the episode of the show, as it were. And also, I don't know if anyone has noticed this, but for years, I've been doing these intros to the shows. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll go back and listen to an old show, and I go, what is that the theme to? What is this music from? I remember one time Jessica, she asked you, and you asked me what this piece of music was, right?
Right.
And so I went back and listened, and I go, oh, that's from Fringe or whatever. But I've started listing the intro credits at the bottom of the post of the episode. So I wish I would have done that all this time, but I've done it for the past 3 episodes of the show. But I'm going to do it from now on. Now, I know what you're asking. Hey, you're going to go back and do that to the old shows? No, that would take forever. But I am going to do it from now on. Isn't that nice of me?
If somebody else wants to do it.
Yeah, if somebody else wants to do it. I'm sure there's stuff I'll listen to and I'll go, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
Some things I listen to and I'm like, oh, I remember this. But most of the time I'm like, I have no idea.
You do that to me all the time. You're like, remember that? No.
Will there be like some new show we're watching?
Uh-huh.
Like in 2012 that got canceled after one season. The theme music might have been cool, and I put the theme music on the show. Don't remember what it was or what it was called. But guys, if you want to join our... Okay. Guys, at etlandfill.com, you can find links to all of our old shows if you click on the show archive. Also, you can find links to our Facebook fan club and follow us on Twitter, stuff like that. If you go to our Facebook fan club, you'll see funny posts and stuff. Steven, isn't it funny?
Almost never for me.
I know. That crazy Steven. Now here's some pod-safe music. Can't get sued. Okay, anyway, back to the show.
Did you see this video here? I guess it just got released this week with Ian Shaw, Robert Shaw's son, doing Robert Shaw from Jaws.
No.
You'll have to look it up and see.
Okay.
They said it's dead on.
Nice.
And since I'm such a Jaws fan, it's Shark Week, so
yeah,
I'm sure something.
I hate to say it, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Oh, did he do it for that Shark Week on the channel?
I don't know. It was just like a clip.
Oh, okay. Steven?
Yes?
What do I do now on this part of the show?
I don't know. Is it time to end it?
I'm so tired. Guys, thank you so much for listening. This was a lot of fun. A lot of the funnest shows come from just being kind of exhausted and tired and just being kind of giddy. And it makes you want to hear funny raps and stuff.
Monday through Fridays is when they rule the late night. On the scene of the TV screen, they keep it tight. 9 p.m. is when you catch the Montel show. 10
what if we did the Steven and Jason show?
So turn it on. Tune in to Talk Show Heaven. KDLI, Channel 27. Montel and Maury, they the baddest compilation. Keep your ears and eyes locked to this TV station. The Montel
and Steven show.
It's the
Jason and Steven show.
What? It's the Montel and Maury show. It's the Montel and Maury show.
That would be awesome.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we need to get Adam on that. What are you saying? Adam from the Bay Area? Good stuff.
Okay, sure.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. Go read some Witcher. Go see some movies. Go see Dora. Right?
Yeah, go see Dora.
So what are you guys waiting for? Steve, are you going to keep reading it?
Yes.
So here's, you never heard I did a little short 7-minute podcast talking about my proposal for the Witcher series. And what it was, the reason the Dark Tower never worked out is like if Bill and I weren't in simpatico, we couldn't record. And I said, basically when it's time to record, if I'm the only one who's ready to just do it. Do it solo if I have to. Keep going. Do all the books.
Right.
I want to do the shows with you. I'd like to have special guests like Adam
or
Ross. I think it would be fun. I want people to send voicemail as soon as they finish the books, and I'll play them on the show. So everybody keep that in mind because I'm going to do this. All right?
Now, is this a separate show?
Spoiler alert.
This? Or
is it what?
A separate show than this?
Yes.
Or are we going to throw it in on this?
No, I think it's going to be a separate show.
Okay.
But I think, like, say I end up doing a show with Ross and you're not done with, but like the week later you are, we can certainly talk about it on this show.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll just kind of quiz you about it and stuff.
Quiz?
You're cheating!
And hopefully you're not cheating, Steven.
No, never.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. I got to go rest my vocal cords, I don't know about you, Steven, but...
Why can't I have a little drink to unwind myself?
That's right. I need to unwind myself.
One of those.
Now, Steven, do you want to do the show for one more hour?
My answer is... no.
All right, Steven.
I don't think you'd be able to talk tomorrow.
I don't think so either. All right, guys, that's the show. What are you waiting for? Do stuff and bye. Bye, Steven.
Bye.
What you need to do is just go to sleep and reset.
My invisible curtain. This conversation's done.
Now this is
podcasting.
Well, this is weird.
Okay, sure.
Look, I made a mistake, all right?
This little prick.
But I hate all of you!
What in the fresh turkey hell we're dealing with here?
See you later.
Go away.
Do I smell? Oh no.
Spoiler alert.
Hell yeah!
Good.
Womp womp, womp womp womp.
You know, destruction. Yeah, that's why we go to demolition derbies. But hey,